Hi, and welcome to Community Talk. I'm Julie Nelson with Hospice Circle of Love. We're a not-for-profit organization that's been in the community since 1983, serving terminally ill patients and their families. We're getting ready for our 26th annual Tree of Life celebration coming up on December 6th at 3 o'clock out at the Gantt Center at NOC, and we wanted to tell you about that today. With me, I have one of our volunteers, Rolf Carlston. Thank you for being here today.
You're welcome, Julie. It's my pleasure.
Well, good. And you've been involved with Tree of Life for many years since you've been a volunteer.
I think every year but one since I've been a volunteer.
Okay. And let's kind of explain a little bit about what happens at the event.
Well, they have a reading of the names. You'd think I hadn't done it at all, wouldn't you? We have a reading of the names, both names that are memorials and names that are in honor of people. There's usually a sermon or homily, or I believe is depending on which faith you subscribe to, that's given. And then there's refreshments and socializing, and you can claim your ornament from the tree or ornaments, which will be hanging on 3 Christmas trees, if we still are using 3.
Yes.
And take them home with you.
And of course, we'll have Christmas music as well. We usually have
That's right. I'd forgotten. Yeah, usually it's live Christmas music, usually by a local group or combo or singer or piano player.
Yes. Yeah. And then at the end, everyone will sing Joy to the World together. That's how we'll end it. And of course, you talked about the reception at the end. That's a really nice time for our staff members to kind of talk with the families that they've served in the past and kind of reconnect. And even the volunteers as well.
Yeah, it is. And usually they will, if you've been a volunteer for one or more of the people present, they will usually come looking for you and want to exchange greetings and have some conversation. So yes, it is a good time. It's probably the best event for, I think, emotionally of the year.
Yeah.
It really is. It's that time of the year, and it's certainly in the spirit of the season.
Yes. And that is one of the things that we do throughout the year to help our families with the bereavement process. And that is probably the most important one that we do. We automatically put all of our patients that have passed away in the last year on the trees. And we might explain too that those are actually ornaments, and there'll be a tag with each one's name that's being remembered on the trees. And those are the names that will be read. And we'll put our patients on there automatically. And then anyone else in the community that wants to participate can buy an ornament for a $25 tax-deductible donation and get their loved one's name included as well. And some of the other things that we do for bereavement are our grief groups. We do those a few times throughout the year. The next one will be coming up in February, and that'll be at our office every Tuesday in February from 5 to 6 p.m. And then I know there are a lot of other things that our bereavement coordinator and our chaplain do to help families, sending cards, telephone calls, those kinds of things. And really, kind of throughout the process, the volunteers and the other staff members are dealing with the family members and the patients kind of with their grief process. Don't you think that that's true when you're visiting with the patients and families?
Oh yeah, definitely. The role I play, well, I do help with labeling mail-outs and assembling ornaments, but the most important thing that I do and the patient volunteers do is to visit with the patients and to give the caregivers some time to themselves to do whatever they want to do and get a little relief from the rigors of taking care of someone. And I find probably that to be honestly the most fulfilling. As strange as that may seem, it is a very profound moment in everybody's life, and certainly in the patient volunteer's life as well.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to the ornaments, I mentioned that if they weren't a patient last year, they make a $25 tax-deductible donation. So although the main focus of this is a memorial celebration, it's also a fundraiser. And of course, that money will go to help care for our patients that don't have a Medicare or insurance benefit for hospice. And that'll help with all of our services for our patients. the nurses, the nurse aides, the chaplain. We've got a music therapist, and of course our volunteers. We pay for the medical equipment for the patient and their medications, and so all of that is involved in the care that we provide. And this is the 26th year that we've been doing the Tree of Life. Do you think it's changed much in the time that you've been involved in it?
Just the location.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it, really. It's always been 3 trees.
Yeah.
And I'll emphasize a point you've mentioned twice too that is important, that it's not just for the people who have lost someone in this current year, but if you want to remember a family member, a friend, Nikki and I have used the opportunity to remember friends who we knew in college and who have passed away, and you can send put a bell. I believe we're doing bells, right? We haven't done them yet.
Silver and gold bells.
Silver and gold bells on the tree in their memory, and then you can retrieve them and then mail them to them with a program, and it's kind of nice. We found it's very well received. It's
Well,
a nice,
good.
thoughtful thing to do.
And another thing that we've been doing are selling duplicate ornaments. So you can buy the original one for $25, and then you can get additional ornaments with that same person's name for $10 each. So a lot of the family members that, it's their first year and we put the ornament on automatically, a lot of them will buy duplicates for, siblings or other family members. And I think they do, send them out to them for Christmas gifts or whatever. And that is a nice way to kind of include that loved one in your Christmas that you're missing so badly. Yeah. And I think that we moved it to the Gantt Center just a few years ago. You mentioned that change. I think that setting works out really well with the size and all of that.
There's plenty of seating. It does. I think it is better, actually. I think the acoustics are better. You can hear what's being said. The important reading of the names is very important, and I know there are some people who might have had trouble hearing when we were in, what was that building? And
it's the one that they tore down.
Yeah, it was sort of cavernous, and sound got lost in the walls. But here it's an auditorium, and it's designed for this kind of presentation. And it's a nice setting, too. It's out at the campus. If people, I don't know if everybody knows where the Gantt Center is, but...
Yeah, NOC.
NOC,
And we might mention, too, that as people are coming in, our prelude is being presented by a couple of people that are in the Enid Symphony Orchestra. Elizabeth Allen, who is our music therapist as well, she is a part of that. So we really appreciate their part in that. I think it's really pretty, the music that they play every year.
Yeah, they do a good job. I would put in a plug, if I may, on asking for volunteers. I know that hospice always is in need of volunteers, not just patient volunteers, but certainly that's an important aspect of the volunteer program. But volunteers to answer the telephones, and volunteers to assemble ornaments, and volunteers to prepare envelopes for the various mailings. And what other things do volunteers do that
Our other events that we do, like our clay shoot, our Mid-Julep Jubilee, our book sales, of course.
Oh, the book sales, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. That really is.
It is.
I don't know how the fundraisers, I know the Christmas presentation is a good fundraiser. The book sales must be pretty lucrative, too, for getting funding. But I don't know how they compare. Which is the Christmas.
The memorial celebration's our biggest event.
Is the biggest event, okay.
Yeah, and of course the volunteers play a very big role in that. You are one of the people that helps read the names.
Right.
And some of the other volunteers are in charge of the reception aspect of it, getting the cookies and the punch out and preparing all that. And we have volunteers handing out programs, helping people find their ornaments and their duplicate ornaments. So we really couldn't do any of our events without our volunteers.
That's right. Yeah.
So they really are a big help in many ways.
So, volunteers, sign up.
That's right. And it really, I think, all the volunteers that do patient care talk about how rewarding it is.
Yes, it is. It's, I don't think there's any experience, there isn't any experience quite like it. and it's a very humane thing to do. And hospice has been doing it for 20, how many years?
Over 30.
Over
1983 was when we started.
1983, yeah. And we were a pioneer. Now, I
Yes.
wasn't personally, but the Enid Hospice Circle of Love was a pioneer in establishing hospice care in the city of Enid.
Oh, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
we're even one of the first hospices in Oklahoma as well.
Ah, so we have a history.
Yes, definitely. You know, our first director, Kathy Graber, was there for 25 years, and
That's
she
right.
really did a great job of
Yes, she did.
establishing it. And I know when we first started, it was mostly just volunteers that were kind of taking care of everything,
Everything.
pretty much, except for
That's-
Kathy. I think she was the only employee for a while.
Well, it's really grown.
Yeah, it
It
has.
really has.
Yeah, and then of course I mentioned that we've been doing the Tree of Life for 26 years, and that's grown a lot too. I know when they started, you know, it was just mostly just the patients' names that they'd served in that year, and now we usually have over 600 names on the tree.
Yeah, I know we have a lot
Yes.
because it's the volunteers that hang the bells.
Yes, that's right. Set those trees
Yeah.
up. That's a lot of work too.
And we try to do it in alphabetical
Yes,
order.
that's right. So people can find their ornaments when
That's
it's all
right.
over.
So
with.
if you
Yeah.
have trouble finding your ornament and you're one of the guests, why just ask one of the volunteers, because sometimes the alphabet can get awfully rearranged.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, especially when we're putting them getting near the end, and we realize we don't have enough room, and we have to go back and make some changes. But everybody, we will get everybody their ornament. We
Definitely.
promise.
Yes, and we'll make sure we get everyone's name read as well. I like the way that we've broken the ceremony up now, where we read a portion of the names, and then we'll do the spiritual message, then another portion, and the music, and then the rest of the names, so that it's not all 600 names at one time.
Right, yeah.
And I think that makes it more meaningful, too, if you're really paying attention and listening to the names.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It is a lovely event.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just, it does the job. I don't know what more to say about it, but it does. It is. It's
Yeah.
the highlight, really, for hospice.
Yeah. And so we just want to encourage people to participate. And like I said, it is a nice way to kind of bring that person that you're missing into your celebration at Christmas time.
It is. It is. And again, I'll emphasize always the need for volunteers. I keep saying patient volunteers, but the need for volunteers. And the Christmas tree assembly, which also is part of that.
Yes.
These trees are huge,
Yes.
and they are pre-strung with the
Yes.
lights, and you really have to almost have some special sixth sense to figure out which plug goes where, so that all of the lights come on at the same time.
Right.
So when you come and attend, why, marvel at
The whole thing's lit up.
the whole thing is actually lighted and every light is on.
Yeah.
You know.
And I like how the bells kind of sparkle with the lights, too. It kind of shines off of them.
And then you can hear them tinkling when people are taking them off the trees. A little
Yes.
Seasonal
Yes.
effect there.
And we have done the silver bells a couple of years, but we've added the gold in this year to kind of add something a little different. And the tags and the ribbons will be different too, so that if someone got one last year, they'll have something a little different to put on their tree this year.
Good.
Well, I'll just mention again that the event is on December 6th at 3 o'clock out at the Gant Center. If anyone is interested in purchasing an ornament, you can come by our office at 314 South 3rd. You can give us a call at 234-CARE. You can find more information about the Tree of Life or hospice care on our website, which is hospicecircleoflove.com. And we just invite you to come out to our event on December 6th. Thanks for watching.
Hi, and welcome to this segment of Community Talk. I'm Bobby Donaldson, and I'm here with Major Ernie Hull from the Salvation Army. We're going to tell you a little bit about something that has blessed my life and my family, but I'll let Major kind of tell you about the program. It's called Spruce Up a Life.
Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate, first of all, the support that your family and the Gaslight Theater and others give to this program. Spruce Up a Life is actually a rather unique program. It's unique to the Salvation Army that Enid is the only place in the United States that has a program such as this. Many other units do have places where people can adopt a Christmas tree, but never to the extent that we do here. As you're aware, we have trees that we adopt out in conjunction with our Angel Tree program. And the trees are fully lit. The folks who adopt them actually take angels and buy gifts for them. They decorate the tree, and UPS takes and delivers all the gifts and the tree fully decorated and lit to the homes of families in need. What a great program. What a great program. We just love this program. This is, again, the third year I'm involved in it, and it gets better and better every year. But tell me, Bobby, why did you get involved initially with the Spruce Up a Life program?
I think it's especially important that everyone understand that each of these families and these trees have a child attached to them. Mm-hmm. This is Christmas for the children. You know, Christmas is about a baby,
Absolutely.
The most precious baby. But for us, we have found as a family, my granddaughter, who's Katie is 13, shared with me as we decorated our tree this week that this is the 9th year. She's been doing this since she was 4 years old. Mm. And every year we buy a tree and pick a family, and the little sign, there would be a sign in front of each tree you sponsor. Ours says, in loving memory of Dick and Isla Mae Terrell, who are my parents. My parents' claim to fame was that they were there. They were there for the food with the funerals, to pull you out of the ditch. So we, as a family, get together. We purchase this tree. We buy the ornaments. We decorate it. We select a family. I have family in Kansas and Washington State and Arizona. They either send a small amount of money, which it's not about how much we spend,
right.
or they shop. And the only guideline for us as a family is you've got to tell a story
right.
about our Christmas memories.
Wow.
And my grandchildren, who were born after my parents passed away, or my grandparents, have stories that they know their whole life. I think our favorite is one time when we were small, we're farm children, we weren't really poor, we were just working people. But back in the day, as my children call my life, they used to make vacuum cleaner or dry cleaner bags out of blue plastic instead of this clear. And one year, my grandmother, Terrell, took wire hangers and those bags and made these little poodle dogs. Mm. And we were 6 and 4 and 2 and a tiny baby, and we ran in there that morning, and there's those 4 little poodle dogs. To this day, that's one of my greatest gifts. Wow. Because it was like we knew she made it for us, and it wasn't in the Sears catalog. But what it gives you a chance to is recognize the love and giving that might be gone. Right. You know, Mom and Daddy are gone, and it's really hard for us that time of year.
Absolutely.
My husband has lost 2 brothers before they were 50 to health issues. Mm. And his family lives all over the United States. But one time every year, we buy this tree. It has in loving memory with their names. And I get calls. I start getting them in October from our family. And they're like, are you going to do the tree this year? So if you have an organization or you are a family who just looks at Mama's ornament and wants to do something, I invite you to go out to the mall, call the number on your screen or the Salvation Army number, and say to them, we want to adopt a tree. Then go decorate that tree and be sure that you take the story and the love and the memory, because that's your chance. Yeah. And we are teaching our children, we hope, that they select a child. One of our children's a 22-month-old little girl. Mm. They love to shop for her, and they know that she's never going to know who they are, right. That there's no, it's literally, you know, a gift of love. It's not for anything. Yeah. And all year we want to do that, but everybody's heart wants a child to have Christmas. Right. And it just makes us happy, I think, to know that Mom and Daddy can see us making sure some child has Christmas, because they would want that. Right. So
you're sharing, you know, your family memories while you're doing this.
Yeah.
And you're creating memories for a new family. A family that, quite honestly, some of our families who sign up for our Angel Tree Assistance don't have a tree to put gifts under, even if we do give them gifts. So we kind of pre-sort those individuals out right up front and try to get as many trees filled as possible. I wish I could say we do 100% every year, but I'd lie if I did. But a great tradition for a family to start. You're helping a family to start gaining the memories that you have. I love the way when you told me the story of your family originally, how, again, this brings the family together and you remember loved ones gone and the Christmases that you've shared together. You're now starting again a whole new tradition with these families.
And I think that if you are a Girl Scout leader or FFA, if you have a young group and they want to do something, there's no big expense if you get enough people involved. It's a great opportunity to, and all of us who shop, I think in the mall, we go through and look at those trees because they're just so fun and so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
The Buckley family has a gorgeous tree already this year. They were like the first one up. They beat me.
Yep.
I think we are within 15 trees of our goal.
We have 15 trees from hitting 50 trees adopted this year.
So I invite you to come be part of God's journey. It's amazing. If this is more than you can do, or if you go later, there is also a tree with children on it. Pick one of those children. I have a niece, she's my sister's granddaughter, and she just is my beloved heart child this year. She went to her parents and her grandmother and she said, I want to give the money you would spend on me to a stranger.
Wow.
And so she has helped us decorate. She's been the shopper, and there's no enthusiasm like a 16-year-old with a baby's gift list,
There
you know?
go. Oh, absolutely.
But to watch that and know that my parents and my grandparents, we say it can be a selfish world and a mean world and everything's blowed up about all the bad things that are going on. But I'm telling you, it's Jesus' birthday and you can celebrate it if you want to.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you, Bobby, this program, again, is so unique that it takes a unique bunch of circumstances to come together to make this happen. The Angel Tree program, again, that's been going on for many, many decades, and we have a unique partnership here. The Oakwood Mall allows us to have that space absolutely free to do this. They're fully sponsoring this program and have been for many years, and we certainly thank Oakwood Mall for their support of the Salvation Army in this program. We have a unique partnership with Kmart in that they sell us these trees at cost, at the end of the season cost, before the season begins, so that we can offer them literally at a cheap rate to families who want to adopt them. And then UPS for taking a Saturday out of their week to deliver these trees fully decorated with all the gifts to these families. Without those unique partnerships, this wouldn't happen. All three of those really play a big role in making this happen. That's why it has come together so often in this community, because we've got that partnership.
And I think it's, we expect of the Salvation Army God's love and the blessings. Those of us who've had blessed lives, but, the mall and the UPS people and these are the big guys.
Yep.
And so when they are, selflessly, because they didn't ask for us to mention their name today, or
Right.
they don't advertise us
Right.
anywhere, but they step up and say, we want to be part of,
Right.
Well,
that's why I
I
mentioned.
just think it's amazing that it takes, like you say, you guys work so hard. There's so many of you, and your volunteers and your people because it's a hard job. You got to get all those trees up, and you got to keep everything flowing, and there are numbers in the trees. But I really, really want you to think for a minute, is this something that we'd like to do this Christmas? And if you can't do it every Christmas, just do it this Christmas. It'll make a memory, and for us, then it made us hungry to do it again.
Right. And I also encourage folks, maybe you can adopt a tree and decorate it, but you can't adopt a family. Well, I've got a lot of angels that are adopted by others that we can match a family up for one of those trees who need it. So there are ways of doing that. So again, folks, we appreciate any support that you might be able to give the Salvation Army. And I just want to say Merry Christmas and God bless each and every one.
And I just want to tell you that the chance, I just had a conversation with my sweet friend before I came in here, and we agreed on the phrase, you can't outgive God. And you cannot outgive God, and you can look at that with your health and your blessings. But you can go there and see what these people are doing for strangers, you know. It's like the Good Samaritan story. Yeah. So don't miss this chance just because you think, oh, well, money's a little tight, or I already worked all day. It'll bless your soul. Something
else I mentioned, Bobby, too, is that we have our distribution day on December 21st. Mm-hmm. That's a day that we encourage folks who maybe want to play elves and see how many families are actually touched on that day as they receive their gifts. It's a blessing to be an elf and helping somebody to their car and watching some of the tears, quite honestly, of these families. That's a great as they receive gifts that, again, they might not otherwise get if people didn't adopt those angels or those trees.
We will need the trees and the angels and everything done by December the 10th.
Right.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So the other thing we found is we always try to get this all together before Thanksgiving. So when we meet during Thanksgiving as a family, I make a list and then just print copies, and it says who our child is and what size they wear and that kind of thing. And so hurry, don't miss the miracle.
Yeah. And it is indeed a miracle. Again, I have so many children. I think we have about 800 children that, again, if they're not weren't adopted by us, you know, in our organization, and the folks who take our angels, might not have Christmas this Christmas without it.
Well, and we live in a world of excess. Our house and our household, we're so blessed, and we're never as grateful as we should be. So to think that some child would have nothing or less than their happiness desires when we have so much, you know, yes. It just can't be that way. So and this is a great community. Enid is, you know.
I love Enid very much.
There was a song when the Murrah building went down, and this boy made this song, and it's called No One Can Love Their Brother Like an Oklahoman Can. And I think this is a great witness to that being true.
Absolutely.
So thank you, people, and everything you do, and God bless you, which I know he already does.
He does. He does. That's why my wife and I, we don't exchange Christmas gifts. We put all our efforts into doing this for others. And then after the season, we celebrate together and take time together to be with one another and shop for one another. And that's my blessing.
My husband would like that because he's always saying, you don't need anything. But anyhow, thank you so much. Come be part of the miracle. God bless you, and Merry Christmas.
Community Talk. I'm Pamela Ballard, Executive Director for United Way of Enid in Northwest Oklahoma. It's my privilege to welcome Carla Burdick. She is now the Program Director for our Coach a Kid Mentoring Program. And Carla is a longtime Enid resident, and she has a vast amount of experience in working with children in our community, and is just doing a great job in coordinating mentors with students in our elementary schools. And last Friday on our Day of Kindness, Carla had a party at Coolidge Elementary, and that was the first time for a lot of the mentors to meet their children, but then we also had a reunion. So Carla, tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Coach a Kid Mentoring Program.
Well, the World Day of Kindness gave us a great opportunity to have a kickoff for our mentors. We had 8 children who have received mentors at Coolidge Elementary, and one of them, Mr. Miller, is been reunited with a student that he has been mentoring over the past 2 years. His was kind of a test program, our trial program last year. So this is the first year for Coach a Kid, but he has actually been mentoring this same child, which is an ideal scenario. We want people to try to continue with the same child year after year to build that stability. But it was a lot of fun. The kids came in the room and they got to meet each of their mentors. They actually each received a T-shirt, a Coach a Kid T-shirt. So that was a kind of a part of our kickoff event. Not something that we'll get to do on an ongoing basis, but was a lot of fun for the day. And when Stephen came in, he saw Mr. Miller and
Yeah, we tried to hide him just a little bit, but
it didn't work too well. He
didn't
was
work very
scanning the
well,
room
yeah.
for him, and he found him, and they had a very fun reunion. All of the kids had a great connection with their mentors, and most of them will be starting either this week or the week after Thanksgiving.
So I'm going to back up just a little bit here about the Coach a Kid program. So the Coach a Kid program kind of was it was birthed out of the Education Committee from the Enid Metropolitan Human Service Commission. We just saw a real need. There are several mentoring programs already going on in town, just kind of bits and pieces here and there. Some have been going on for a long time, but still there are a lot of students out there who may just need someone to read to them, listen to them read, do flashcards with math. It's not something that requires a lot of skill, just something where someone can commit to a child, correct?
Correct. With this mentoring program, it's not a tutoring program per se. We do ask the mentors to help them with their schoolwork since it is being conducted during the school day, but it is not really intended to be a tutoring program, even though that becomes part of their mentoring process. We ask them to spend at least 30 minutes a week with the child, up to an hour. At least 20 minutes of that time, we would like them to be working with them on schoolwork. We believe it's a great way to bond. The additional time, can be either spent playing, kind of get to know you games, or just visiting, maybe spending some time walking the track or doing different things with the child to help them learn different behavior skills and life skills, and just having that special person that came to that school just to see them each week and having consistency in their life.
That's right. It's Carla is working at United Way with us now, and just thrilled to have you there with us doing this. So it is part of Carla's United Way employee, and she's doing this, and it's so simple to get involved with the program, but it can just make a difference in the child's life. There are so many studies that show that children who have a mentor in their life, the graduation rates increase, and then a lot of the negative social indicators that come on a little bit later with drug use or early pregnancies, a lot of those can be diminished if a caring adult is present in a child's life.
Correct. Right now our main goals are we do want to improve their school work. We want to improve their school attendance. We're hoping at least on the day that the mentor comes, they want to come to school. So in the long run, we're hoping that by improving their school attendance and improving their self-esteem, that they will stay in school and our graduation rates will improve. So it's a very long-term goal. Short-term is improve their attendance and improve their schoolwork. But long-term is the graduation rate.
And what we found so far, just in the short time we've kind of been up and running, is that we do have more boys who are being recommended for the program. And so really we need a lot of men to sign up for the program. It's very important to have a strong role model. Certainly we welcome women to sign up as well, just men, women, both, but really have a need for strong male role models in the program.
Correct. A lot of the teachers, when you ask them to pick one student, it does tend to be a boy. I think as we start getting more mentors in the program and they're allowed to then pick another student out of their class, we'll start seeing more of the girls come forward. Right now, we have 26 volunteer mentors who have actually gone through the process. It's a simple application. We do background checks on all of our mentors. They will be working with children, so we want to make sure that we've done that. And then from there, we wait for the teachers to recommend a student. They send home a permission form. So if you're a parent that would like to get your child involved in this, please get with your teacher. If you've already received one of the permission forms home, please sign it and get it back. We have volunteers, the mentors, ready to go as soon as we can get those permission forms back. We currently have 11 permission forms back, and all of those students have been placed with a mentor. Like I said, we have additional mentors just ready and waiting.
Yes, so if you are a parent and you have seen something that says coach a kid and a permission form and you're not sure what that is, that's legitimate. And it's been approved by the school. United Way is backing the program, and everything's been verified and approved because we've had quite a few students who have been recommended by teachers and have went through that process, and we are just waiting to get that permission form back so that we can get them placed with the students or with a mentor. So
Correct.
please get that filled out and signed and returned to us, and the student will be
We have 34
Really
names that the teachers have turned
getting some
in, with only
assistance.
11 that have been turned back.
Yeah, so that's a third of the
Yeah.
third of the students.
And our goal is, long term, I actually had the opportunity to visit a school in Oklahoma City where they do a program that we've kind of mentored or mimicked this after. And there they have over 300 students, and every student has a mentor. Long-term goal would be ideal, even if just at a few schools we could have every student have a mentor. It can happen. They did it there. They started just like we are now, and it's been going on for over 10 years. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but hopefully 10 years from now, every student in Enid will have a mentor. So
I don't know, how many people watch the program on a regular basis, but Stan Brownlee, who's been a long-term mentor here in the Enid Public Schools, he was with me one day and he was talking about one of the young boys, very young. He's mentoring the really young students at Carver, and just could not get the little boy to look up at him. And so Stan would just get down on the table and would just, get down with the little boy and kept, he just said, I'm going to get this little boy to where he will look me, in the eyes. And so Stan was talking a couple of weeks ago, and he said, whenever he said he walked in that day, he said the little boy just ran up and gave a hug. And Stan he kind of got teary-eyed talking about it because something had clicked and he had really made a difference. He could tell they just crossed that line. And you really bond with the student after a few weeks. And so it makes a difference not only in the child's life, but it does something for you as well when you become involved, and know that you're doing something that it's not just going to make a difference that day for that student. Like I said, there's so many studies where it shows the difference that it makes socially and academically. Their school attendance improves, but it's going to do a world of good for you as well.
that is correct. And last Friday, when the mentors got to meet their students for the first time, after talking to them when that was over, it was very fun for me to see the excitement that just spending that 15 minutes with them made, and how much it meant to the mentor. Obviously it meant a lot to the child, but we had one of them that was not going to start. Their school is out the full week of Thanksgiving, and so they were not going to get to start until that first week in December. Called back and said, is there any way I can change my time and work it out where I can start this week? And a lot of them that were going to wait and put it off have bumped up their start date because of the excitement, and to see these kids and to see that they could really make a difference just in that little bit of time. It is not something that you need to know a lot about any of the work that they're doing. The teachers will provide you with something for the child to read to you, maybe a worksheet that they're behind on or needing to work on. Maybe it's what the class is working on at that particular time. So you don't need to have a lot of prep or a lot of knowledge in what they're doing. The teachers will provide that.
Yeah, I think that's important to emphasize. Other than the time that you go there and that you're with the student, everything else will be handed to you whenever you get there. And it was really fun to be there at the get together and at the kickoff event, because there was one little girl, she was so excited. I think the whole time I was there, I think she talked. I mean, she kind of reminded me of myself when I was
Some of them are very shy
Yeah.
and some of them are very talkative. And you get both reasons that the teacher has recommended them. Sometimes it's a child that needs someone to help them open up. Other times it's because the teacher feels like it's someone that just needs more engagement during the day. They're maybe just a very active person and need a little more stimulation. Sometimes it's students that need help reading. Other times it's students that are more advanced and are needing a little more of a challenge. So it can work both ways. A lot of finding that out will be just working with the student, and I will be helping with that. I also will provide mentors with, for their first few visits, there'll be some sheets where they can do a story, kind of a get-to-know-you icebreaker story. I'll be providing you with some things to use for filler if you're needing it, and we'll be there to
That's right.
assist with anything you need. So-
Carla's going to make it as easy for you to get involved as possible. So to become a mentor with Coach a Kid and to really make a difference in a child's life and in your life as well, just call the United Way office at 580-237-0821. You can email Carla at unitedwayenid.org and be well on your way to making this world a better place. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to hear from you soon.